So what's up guys, today I want to talk about Frieza's time in Hell and how it relates to Journey to the West, and how it also relates to Frieza's character development as we've seen lately in Dragon Ball Super. So I'd like to start the video off by essentially just pointing out how similar the situation Frieza found himself in Hell is to Sun Wukong in terms of his punishment for refusing to be reincarnated. Now in Dragon Ball Super, the reason Frieza is stuck in Hell for so long is because, yes, again, he refuses to be reincarnated. And when Sun Wukong was sealed underneath Five Phases Mountain, the reason for this was that he essentially had achieved immortality and refused to be reincarnated. That was the entire point of him achieving immortality, was because he refused to be reincarnated. He did not want to face death. He did not want to be trapped underneath the rule of the Kings of Hell and the Jade Emperor and Buddha, because they together run the cycle of life and death. In fact, King Yama is based on the King of Hell from Journey to the West. So you can see there are a lot of connections here in terms of what Frieza went through and what Sun Wukong went through in Journey to the West. So as Journey to the West research points out here, Xiao explains that the term Five Elements Phases Mountain is used in Journey to the West as a Buddho-Taoist doctrine to represent mortality. For example, Monkey complains to the judges of Hell in Chapter 3 that he is no longer subject to death since he has achieved the Taoist elixir, thereby freeing himself from the five elements. His imprisonment beneath Five Elements Mountain and hellish diet are therefore clues that the Buddha is punishing Sun Wukong to a symbolic death and afterlife. His subsequent release in Chapter 14 can then be viewed as a symbolic reincarnation which completes the cycle of death. So it goes death, karmic punishment, rebirth. Why is this important? Well, what does this have to do with Frieza and his development and what he's been through? Well, here recently we were introduced to Black Frieza. And if you remember, when Black Frieza showed up, he did not kill Goku and Vegeta. He actually saved them from Elec and Gas. And this is because Frieza has changed. He is not the same person he was before. So Goku has a big part in this, because what Goku does is he breaks the ego of a powerful tyrant and he encourages them to practice martial arts, because Goku practicing martial arts is the reason that he changed. His grandpa encouraging him to practice martial arts, you know, from the time he was a child, after his memory was erased, after he hit his head. Goku having Budo imprinted into his nature is the reason that he himself continues to be a good person, because if he ever gave up on his principles of Budo, he would be no different than any villain, any Saiyan that's ever existed, because he would be running around killing selfishly. That is not what Goku does. He only participates in combat for the sake of self-improvement. So as you can see in this diagram that I retweeted from Herms98 on Twitter, this is the five elements that they are referring to when they speak of Five Elements Mountain. Now, the five elements in Chinese mythology actually represent the cycle that life, the earth, civilization, the cycle that everything goes through. And this cycle is associated with yin and yang. So Black Frieza is the result of not only Frieza finding his own personal balance, but also going through this process. Now, you may be saying to yourself, but Jordan, Frieza said after he was revived by Goku that he refused to give up his evil ways. Well, that is true, and I actually believe that despite the fact that he has saved Goku and Vegeta, that he still will choose not to give up his evil ways. I think that he is just controlling his nature and balancing himself with martial arts due to the fact that he has been so heavily influenced by Goku. I don't think that Frieza by nature on the inside is any better than he's ever been. I think he's just as evil as he's ever been. But he has found balance, and that is the reason that he saved Goku and Vegeta, and that is the reason that he is more intelligent. He is, like, everything about him is different. That's why he trained. He's become a better manipulator. He's overall become improved, but in a completely different way. And in the Granola arc, you'll notice that anytime they ever reference Frieza, they reference that the balance of the universe is about to shift in his favor. They actually use the word balance, and that is to basically tell us, the reader, that Frieza has achieved his own personal balance. And what that actually means is that he has figured out how to tame his nature in a way to have the balance of the universe shift in his direction. which is something that Goku has been doing throughout the entire series. Goku, due to the fact that he tames his wild, aggressive nature with martial arts, he shifts the balance of the universe in his favor. So that's what Frieza's doing. Frieza is actually taking what Goku has done to sway the universe in his favor, and he's using it in his own way. He's using it in his favor. So, despite the fact that he inside is just as evil as he's ever been, it's very similar to Goku. Goku inside is just as wild and violent as the Saiyans have ever been, but he uses martial arts as a means of balancing himself and controlling his evil nature. Now, you'll notice back on Namek, whenever Goku became a Super Saiyan, he straight up tells Frieza what he does. He explains Budo to, or what Master Roshi taught Goku, which is known as Budo. It is known as the martial way. It is a Japanese form of martial arts that Dragon Ball heavily plays on. And I'll be explaining that in a different video. But this is a pretty good way to sum up what Budo is. Goku, he shreds the pride of the opponents that he faces, which causes them to want to better themselves to rectify their ego, which causes them to train and practice martial arts, which causes them to practice certain things, which causes them to better themselves without that being their intention, okay? So Goku tricks these villains into bettering themselves. And you'll notice here that this scene is very reminiscent of when Frieza showed up and just wrecked Goku and Vegeta. This is essentially to tell us, just like whenever Goku found his own personal balance on Namek by becoming a Super Saiyan, that Frieza has found his own personal balance here, and that's what Black Frieza is. It is essentially his yin and yang form. It is his personal balance. He has found his balance as an individual, and as a result, he is going to be able to take advantage of that to shift the balance of the universe in his favor. And Frieza refusing to change his ways isn't inaccurate to what happened in Journey to the West at all. In Journey to the West, when Sun Wukong was, in fact, freed from Five Phases Mountain, the monk Tripitaka that he was supposed to be protecting noticed that he had not rectified his ways. He had not changed at all. He was the same wild, aggressive beast that he had always been. Only through practicing Buddhist martial arts practices did he eventually become a Buddha and completely rectify himself as an individual. So this is all heavily, what Frieza is going through is verbatim Toriyama's play on what Sun Wukong went through in order to change as an individual. Now, Toriyama loves to do everything through the framework of Budo, because Budo is a Japanese form of martial arts that takes inspiration from Taoism and Buddhism. Rather than encouraging specifically Buddhism in Dragon Ball, he encourages the practices of Budo in Dragon Ball. So this is all shifted into the framework of martial arts rather than spiritualism or morality. Everything is put into the framework of what you should do as a martial artist, which is why a lot of people, that whenever I talk about Buddhism in reference to Dragon Ball, they don't understand that it's not really Buddhism, it's Buddhism's effect on martial arts as a whole. Martial arts itself would not exist without Buddhism. It is the reason that it exists. So Toriyama is playing on that here. And Journey to the West is not just a story about a monkey with a stick, like a lot of people say it is. That's why a lot of people, like to think that only the first arc of Dragon Ball heavily references Journey to the West. But Journey to the West encompasses so many different themes and so many different things that it is hard for me to express to you just how deep the influence it has on Dragon Ball is, because I would have to break down almost every single theme that Dragon Ball itself plays on, and how similar it is to the themes that Journey to the West plays on. Nature versus nurture, good versus evil, your monkey mind versus your Buddha nature. This is all stuff that Dragon Ball plays on. The concepts that Journey to the West encompasses are the very same concepts and themes that Dragon Ball itself plays on. So it goes much further than referencing Journey to the West through the Nyoibo or the Kinto-un, it goes much further than that. Journey to the West has a lot of deep psychological, moral, spiritual themes. It is a very, very complex form of literature. You can't simplify it down to the very surface level references that Toriyama makes in the original Dragon Ball. It goes much, much, much farther than that. Journey to the West itself has been a huge impact on martial arts as a whole, specifically Budo. Budo is actually specifically a play on what the Monkey King represents, which is taming your ego and using it for what it's supposed to be used for, which is survival. It's using combat correctly with pure intentions rather than using it in some evil, in some selfish way. The whole point of Budo is to master the art of combat and use it selflessly while also using it to benefit you. But I just wanted to go over real quickly how similar Frieza's journey through death is to Sun Wukong's journey through death and reincarnation. Toriyama is definitely taking direct influence from what happened with Sun Wukong in Journey to the West and applying it to Frieza in his own special way. Frieza was trapped. It served as a symbolic means of punishing him because he refused to be reincarnated. The Monkey King was fed molten lava while he was trapped under Five Phases Mountain because he loved food, and that was like his personal punishment for eating all the food in heaven and, you know, drinking the elixir of immortality and all this stuff. It's very similar to how Frieza has to like watch these fairies and stuff. It's like that's his personal punishment. It makes the punishment very personal for him. So Toriyama is being very the way he's implementing Frieza's character is very creative, and I just wanted to make this video real quick to essentially, you know, hopefully create a deeper understanding of what his intentions were, and hopefully create more appreciation for how he went about implementing Frieza in Dragon Ball Super. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.